Hi, I'm Anna Brewster. Welcome to Art Club for February. Today we're going to be making some lovely flower pictures. I apologise for the wind moving the camera. What we're going to do is rip up an old picture that we've made and make it into something new and exciting. So go and grab something out of your stash and let's get going. Okay, so what we've got here is a extremely boring seascape, and what I'm going to do is tear this up. So I'm going to tear it into kind of, I don't know, interesting shaped pieces maybe. Just kind of, we're going to be making a flower arrangement, so sort of petally shaped bits might work quite well. Some of it's going to end up being the vase. Doesn't really matter how it ends up, just going to shred it basically. If you've got any pictures with green on, that's ideal, because green obviously will work really well for leaves and things like that, but really whatever colour you've got is fine. I don't know why I painted this. I think I was just experimenting basically, but you know, if you haven't got anything to rip up, you're a lot more organised than I am, because I tend to hold on to things like this and just sort of keep them in the cupboard. Mainly because you can always draw on the other side, as you can see, so that don't want to waste paper. Oops. I'm doing this at home on a table. I've had to build a camera mount out of Lego, which obviously is what you do when you're making videos. There we go. So if it ends up a little bit wobbly, that'll be why, basically, because the Lego might fall over. Fingers crossed it doesn't. Okay, we're nearly there. Just ripped a load of bits up. You may not need that many. I'm only going to make a small picture today. I think this textural bit, this sort of stuff here with the sea, might make quite a good, could be a vase, could be a leaf. I'm going to get that bit as well. There we go. So I've got a whole little pile of paper here. I use quite thick paper, so you can see this paper, you can see it's got layers to it. That's totally fine. If there are bits with layers showing through, that's quite fun actually, it just adds a bit of texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these on, and this will almost certainly make the camera rock. So we'll see how we go with this. I'm just going to move those to one side. There are two ways you could do this. You could use PVA glue, or you could use a glue stick. It's like being at school. And what you're going to do is you're going to aim for something a bit vasey near the bottom and sort of things coming out near the top. So I will try and give you an idea of that as I do this. I'm going to recklessly do this on my hand instead of putting it down on the paper, because I know what's going to happen. So that one feels like that could be part of a vase, I think, maybe there. So maybe I'll put that one here. That is a terrible glue stick, I must say. It's really quite fundamentally not sticky. So this might be a bit of a challenge, but you know what? That's fine. Right, so there, I think that can be the other half of my vase. And you can see how I'm reusing what was a sort of a beach bit as the vase itself. Here's another bit. And then I think I'll have some flowers. Now the nice thing about this, about trying to make leaves and things like that, is if you've got blue in your picture, you just need to put yellow over the top and that will make green leaves. If you've got, if you've got yellow, you just add blue. And actually you'll find mostly there's something in there that you can make green with whatever you've got. Of course, not all leaves are green, so you can be quite inventive here as well. And any lovely bright colours you happen to have, you can use those for the flowers. Right, I think I'm going to put that one there. Oh, it's wobbling a little bit. Oh, for image stabilisation, eh? Never mind. So we've got another piece here. And I'm going to start maybe using some of these as what's going to be the flowers eventually. So we'll just stick that one down. And here's another one, a little bit up here. And you can be quite kind of free and easy with this. You don't have to put them on and think too hard about what's going to go where, but it's helpful if you can get some sort of thing like a vase shape with kind of an explosion of plants coming out the top. So if you think about how a bouquet can look. Oh, that's wobbling the camera. Never mind. I'm going to use these bits as leafy sort of things and flowers. And this glue stick is so bad that I'm quite sure the minute I pick this picture up, everything is going to drop off. We'll see. Maybe like that. Let's put a few more on. What else have I got down here? I could finish the vase off, couldn't I? Let's do that. Right, okay, so we've got a little vase going on here. And I'll just put these last few bits on. Managed to drop a few on the carpet. Perfect. And when I've got these on, we'll talk about how we're going to... I like that there. Yeah, let's put that there. That's made quite a good vase shape, actually. I'll put these last few bits on, and then I'm going to let it dry, and I will talk to you about how we go decorating over the top. What do we reckon? There, 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 there. Choices, choices. I think there. And I've only got a few bits left now, so I'll just do those quickly. I think one at the front. That's quite nice. And that one's a bit big, so I'll just shred that a bit. Glue stick running out of glue. I think I've got more glue on my fingers than I've actually got anywhere else at this point. It's quite nice to have some sort of tall bits coming up if you can. That works quite well. I've got one little bit left. And that one is going to go just there. See how bad it is? It's just not sticking. Stick. Okay, right, I'm going to flatten this under a book for 10 minutes or so, just to allow it to sort of sit down, and then we shall proceed. Right, so that has dried a little bit now, and I've stuck all the bits that we're trying to escape down. So at this point, what we need to do is start adding some pencil lines. Now, if you're not sure, you could use a pencil, just an ordinary pencil. But I'm feeling quite reckless, so I'm just going to go straight for some colour. I'm going to go for I've got a green here. I'm going to use what am I going to use? Green. The vase looks sort of bluey to me, so I'll probably go for quite a bluey colour for the vase. And I think I need something for the petals. And I'm feeling I might work towards yellow, because I do like yellow, and it's spring, and let's face it, we all need a bit of spring. So I've got 3 pencil crayons here. These are Derwent Drawing ones. They are quite oily sort of pencils, and they're ones that I like to use. But honestly, anything you've got lying about will be brilliant. As you can see, these are quite blunt. It's not really going to matter. This is all going to be quite imaginary, so we're going to make it up as we go along. It's easiest to put in some of the leaves first, which might seem a bit odd, but you can just draw straight over the top of things. Don't worry about what's where, and you're just putting in a few of these leaves. Everything is, the whole camera is shaking now, I can see. Marvellous. Really any shape you like. Got a few going on here. You can go over the top of the paper. Let's see, what else could I put on? A few, maybe a few. Oh, I don't know. Is this reckless? No, I'm in the mood for this, so why not? We're going to have a few sort of flowers on spikes as well. If you're going to put spikes of things in, I'd recommend putting... things work well in threes, so put in 3 and don't make them all the same height, and you'll be fine. I'm not sure what this is meant to be. Maybe like a forsythia or something. It's just happening. There we go. It's happening. Okay, so I've got a few leaves in. I might put some more in a minute, but what I need to do now is think about the... is that a leaf or a flower? That is a question. I think that's going to be a leaf. So we'll actually use the shape of that one to make a... and maybe put a few kind of lines up and down the middle, just so I can see kind of where they are. I'm not going to go too mad with that though. There we go. So we've now got quite a lot of sort of shape going on, which is a good start. So let's have a think about flowers. I'm thinking tulips. It's that sort of time, isn't it? Tulips are very kind of, they're quite, if you try and draw them really accurately, they're quite complicated, but if you just draw them as a kind of like that, you can get away with it. So let's put another one in here. They're kind of a big circle, and they have these sort of shaped petals coming around like that. So we're going to go for some big tulips, and they also have this wonderful habit of kind of flopping sideways out of the as they get bigger. So I might put another one in down here. So these ones are drooping a little bit, and another one here, and another one up here, just a small, like a bud of a tulip. There'll be another one there. Okay, so we've got some tulips going on, and now the vase. Well, I've got most of the shape of the vase already, and it's going to stop about here. So all I need to do is kind of add it in. And I'm using what's already there, so I'm not having to do a huge amount of work for this. This is mostly done already for me. I can put a bit of colour on it if I want. It's like one of those sort of funky stoneware vases, the sort of thing I like quite a lot. Right, that'll do. So now I've got leaves, I've got flowers, I've got vase. That should be a bit rounder on the bottom, I think. Let's make it a bit rounder. They're always rounder than you think they are. By happy coincidence, I've chosen quite a good blue, but I'm going to add a bit of paint over the top of this. So at that point, the blue will start to really work a little bit harder. Let's just do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is grab some paint, and then we are going to get some paint on top of that. Right, so I've got my tiny little palette. This is the first palette I ever had, actually, or the first palette I had when I started painting properly. And this is just a little teeny tiny one, and it had pans of paint in it. As you can see, a lot of the pans are quite empty now because the ones I really liked I used. So things like the sky blue is completely gone. There's no cerulean there anymore. So I'm going to have to work with the colours that I've got. Let's see what I've got, shall we? I don't even know what half of these are now. A bit of Prussian blue, that's quite nice. We'll have a bit of that. So I'll just mix a bit of that up over here. That will work quite well to just kind of draw the paint over the vase. I'm not going to completely cover it because I quite like some of the colours that are going on here, but I'm just going to break up the pencil that I did just put on a little bit, just to kind of add a bit of interest and bring it all together. It will give me a chance to go around that leaf as well. There we go. You can see you don't need much. There's already a lot going on there, and because this is a really old painting with really dry paint, it's easy to go over the top of it. There we go. Just put on a bit of that. Now let's have a think about the other colours. So we've got green. I've used all the sap green, I can tell. This green is horrible. I think it might be Viridian. I'll have to mix it with something else to make it palatable. Let's mix it with whatever on earth that is. That's quite nasty. It's a good job you can't see this. It's off the side of the paper. Right, no, it's all right. It's passable. There we go. It will do. And we're just going to paint in those leaves. I think it was transparent yellow. Again, it was not a colour that I must have put it in there at some point. But this this palette doesn't come out very often. Let's put in some nice, and you can see already this is starting to, you can sort of start to see the bouquet coming out. If you're using greens, if you get lighter as you get towards the top of the picture, that looks quite sort of natural because more light is kind of hitting those leaves than it is at the bottom. So what I might do to pull the whole thing together is just make a deeper green with a little bit of that Prussian blue and the Viridian for these further down leaves. It's not the most natural green in the world, but it's all right. And then maybe even some really deep, put in just a little bit in this middle bit where there's nothing else going on, because it will look a bit weird if I leave those bits white. So we'll just get a bit of bluey green, really, really deep bluey green going on here. Maybe even blue. No, not sure about that. Park that for now. Get the leaves done. That's a nice colour. There we go. And we've got our little stalks here, haven't we? So I'm going to just put a little bit more on those. And have I missed any? Missed a few over here. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll put the yellow in, and then I'll see what I want to do with this middle area, because it may be that I don't want to add anything to it and it's fine, or it may be that actually I do want to add something to it. And here we're going to hit a real snag because the yellow I've got is disgusting. That is really vile. It's going to have to be orange then, isn't it? It's the only clean colour on the palette. But that's okay, because orange and blue are next to each other, opposite each other rather, on a colour wheel, and so they actually, oh my, that's a colour. They actually like to hang out together. That's fine. I don't dislike that. That is quite funky. I think I must have used white gouache or something on this, or possibly acrylic, because whatever I used on it doesn't really like the paint. It's repelling it slightly. So where there was wave sploosh, those white dots are coming through the paper. Now I can see here I've got a gap there, so I might put something else in it. Who knows? Who knows what I will put in it? I did one of these before that was roses that came out quite well, and I'll show you kind of about layers in a minute, about how you can add a few layers in to add interest. And you can see that I'm just putting paint over the bits of collage paper. It doesn't really matter too much. You're just going over wherever you want. Interesting. So I've now got a few gaps. I've got things that look as though they should have stalks, and what I think I might do, I'm going to just see if I can persuade one of these yellows to... Oh, that really is unpleasant. They got so dirty and there's so little paint left in. That's not bad. It's like a gold. We'll put in a little bit of that there. That's passable. I quite like how when you do this you get these interesting layers of colour on top of other colours. So if I put this yellow over a green, I get a very different colour. So down here over some bluey bits, and that's, I think, what I'm going to put down here a bit, just to kind of fill that bit in. This is bothering me. That needs to be another leaf, I think. So what I might do, if I can find the green pen I was using, there he is. I think that needs to be another leaf. A bit of sort of that could be these could be stalks, you know. Oh, I've missed one there. Look at that. Terrible. Okay, so I've got a couple of leaves to do because I missed them. I think it's quite healthy to rip up your paintings sometimes. It just gives you a... It's easy to hoard them all, but actually you don't need to hoard them because you know you can make a better one, and probably, you know, you will make a better one. This wasn't a terrible painting, but it wasn't a particularly exciting painting, so I'm quite happy to repurpose it. Now, those layers I was talking about, so I'm going to get a little bit of a deeper red there if I can find something that will do the job. This looks about right. Bit of alizarin crimson. I'll mix it in with this slightly weird orange, got to be honest. It got dumped over here because obviously I wasn't that fond of it. Oh, that's not alizarin crimson, that's pink. Okay, that's pink. Let's put in a bit of that. Anyone would think I didn't prepare for these at all. Right. And by adding in a little bit of extra colour like that, that's quite nice actually, I don't mind that. You can just add extra dimensions to the whole thing. So I quite like that bit where it's gone over the purple. So let's just pull this down a bit. What I'm going to do as well with this blue vase is use a little bit of that same kind of pinky colour that I've got going on here, just to go down one side of the vase. And again, we can layer this. Whoops, we've gone over the edge. It doesn't matter. I say we've gone over the edge. I've gone over the edge. Yeah. Bit of blue on that bottom corner. And I'll just tidy that edge up just so it's a bit neater. I reckon that's about there. So, let me just get it so you can actually see what I've been up to. See the whole thing. And there we go. See all those different textures happening on the vase and all these flowers happening in the top, and that is a perfectly good use of a painting that really wasn't very good. Well, okay, that's it for February for Art Club, and I hope you've had fun and made something interesting. And if you have, I'd love to see it. So I'm Anna Brewster Art on most social media. Come and find me, and we will see you back in March. Happy painting!